All right, episode 124. We're back, Rob.
124.
124. Can you believe we've done 100? I don't know. I know I said that last time. I said, can you believe we've done 100? And here we are at 124 of these things.
124.
I
don't have anything witty to say about.
No. Well, you know why? Because it's 10,000 degrees outside, and we record this in our kick-ass studio. That's always it's hot in here.
Yeah, these windows. Well, we have big windows in here.
I know, and it's it's scorching. I think I saw that it's going to be 100 degrees today.
And if it does reach 100, then I think I've read maybe what you were reading, but it would be the hottest day in 5 years.
5 years, exactly. Which surprised me actually.
Really?
I guess they're talking
global warming surprised you?
No. I think about heat index versus the actual temperature. You know, the whole it's only 97 degrees, but it feels like 115.
Yeah,
because we've got the thick, wet humidity here, right? Humidity, right? So yeah, it may only be 93, but it feels like 105. You know, that type of thing. Right?
It's hot out.
So, yeah, it's hot.
I mean, it's hot.
Yeah,
it is hot.
So you had mentioned. Let's shift to today's topic. You had mentioned these damn scooters that are all over town, right?
I know. We sound like bunch of curmudgeons.
I know, but
scooters,
but
kids and their scooters.
For those that don't know or living in a rural environment, right? And in Atlanta, was it 2 years ago? How long ago was it? I mean, it's been a while.
I think it was longer than that.
It's been a while,
yeah,
right?
Because time is weird because of the pandemic. And
yeah.
So I
maybe 5 years.
Yeah, I feel like it was like 3, 4, maybe.
Yeah,
years
we
ago.
had Bird, the brand Bird.
Yeah.
Bird scooters all over. Boom, overnight. Boom, we got scooters everywhere.
And everywhere in the country. Well, a lot of the big metropolitan.
And it was like, remember the news thing was like, hey, we're not asking for permission. We're just going to drop scooters off in every city and just figure out the rules later. You know?
There was no reaching out to municipalities to discuss whether this was okay or even legal or anything.
Yeah. It was great. And it was like, oh, no, there's no helmets. It's just, hey, zap it with your phone. You pay whatever, a buck or two, and you ride your little scooter.
And there was no, because they didn't deal with municipalities or anything like that, it was like, do I ride on the sidewalk?
Yeah, nobody knows.
Do I ride on the street?
Well, here we are, however many years later, and they still don't. We still don't know.
Yeah, ER doctors' best friends. Yeah, they love the scooters.
Man, have you seen someone wipe out on them?
No,
dude, I've seen a couple bad accidents.
Have you ever ridden one?
No. I think my daughter and I from an old Atlanta United game were going to ride him back, but I couldn't get it to work or something. I don't know what to do. She rode one, and I was like, I'll just walk. You know, I don't think I've actually zapped one and done it because I was like, dude, the last thing I need is another app to although that ties into exactly what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you been on one and zipped around?
I have not been on one, but my stepson Ian, shout out to Ian, broke his arm in half on one of those.
Oh,
things.
that's right.
Do you remember that? It was not a Bird scooter.
Okay.
Or it was one that he got for Christmas.
Dude, I remember
it was in
that
the middle
photo.
of the. He snapped his arm in half.
Dude, that photo was brutal.
Oh, it was gnarly.
Yeah,
it was gnarly.
Well, we're here by Georgia Tech, as frequent listeners of the podcast know, and we see tech students on those things all the time.
All the time.
I mean, and there'll be two people on one of those things, or it's like, oh, I've got bags of groceries hanging off the head almost.
Yeah, you got to balance the weight.
Yeah, I got a backpack. I got bags. I'm smoking a cigarette, drinking a 32 ounce.
No one's wearing helmets.
Oh, it's disaster.
It's like motorcycles in South Carolina.
Yeah,
there's no helmets.
They don't exist.
No helmets.
So yeah, over here on Spring Street, I saw somebody flying down, only to realize, oh, it's a red light. You know, and the traffic is going the opposite way. So they tried to slam on the brakes. I mean, this was 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, you know what I mean? And I'm going to call it a single scooter accident. I mean, they didn't hit anybody else.
Was it violent?
But it was, you slammed on the thing. It's starting to swerve and blah, 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 and you just kind of went head over little handlebar thing and just ate pavement in front of everybody. Well, all of us are stopped. I mean, everyone's at a full stop. Yeah. And you just came rushing in at 25, 30 miles an hour and then boom, just bit it. And then,
little road rash.
Shout out to David Torres. We were up in Charlotte, years ago. So, I can't remember. So obviously these things have been around for a while. And, we saw, while we were in Charlotte, the Panthers were playing the Patriots, coincidentally enough. And there were Patriots fans out and about, and they had some cocktails and they just full steam on the street, full steam right into the curb. Boom.
Just one guy? Single rider?
Yeah, single rider, but a pack of them. But one of them ate it. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, dude, you're going to the hospital.
There may be some teeth knocked out.
This is bad. This is really, really bad. So.
Well, so they came in, they dumped them.
Yeah.
They dumped them all over the city.
Yeah,
I mean everywhere. And then you had, and then you had pickup trucks full of scooters because you get paid to go charge them.
Dude, my wife signed up to be a Bird scooter charger.
I remember that.
Yeah, but it was right at the tail end. It didn't really work. It was like,
what did you have to do? Did you buy a charger or they gave you a charger?
No, they gave you the stuff and then you had a window
to go pick them
up. But it was like a battle of the first come first serve.
Oh yeah.
So everybody else is out there fighting each other off to try to get the scooters.
And they were like modified pickup trucks that had like racks in the back, scooters in the back.
It wasn't like the mom minivans. It was like legit.
No, it was like I'm going to make a business out of this.
Yeah.
But then they
that was crazy.
It was crazy, and they were everywhere. And the problem with them too. Well, there were a lot of problems with them, but part of the problem was just. They were just an eyesore because people would leave and they would just fall over and they'd just be littered there was no place to, because there was no plan. They would just leave them on the sidewalk.
Yeah. It's the modern day. It was just abandoned shopping carts.
Yeah.
Just everywhere.
Yeah.
Littering, and then it's like you can't get around to the sidewalk. They're in your driveway. You can't get, and it was, I rode it from here to my house. And then I just dumped it in front of my
yard.
Because it's not mine. You know what I mean? And then maybe someone comes and picks it up days later.
It's very strange.
So bizarre.
But now so then I guess, I don't know what happened from a
legal perspective.
Yeah. I don't know if they ever, what they figured out or didn't figure out.
What we were going to talk about though is nature, deplores a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
So when there's one, there's always another one.
Yeah.
Right. And sort of natural opposites, or call it the spirit of competition or battle of the brands, whatever you want to call it. Right. So it was, Bird came in and took over. So boom, we need the competition to Bird.
Yeah.
Which is Lime.
Right. There were a few other ones that came in, but Lime was the one that kind of rose to the top to be the true, the challenger.
Yeah. And Lime has now gotten a capital infusion from Uber. So it's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know what the deal is with Bird.
Well, all I see all over town are Limes.
They kind of went away and now they're back.
They're back.
But they're Lime. It's Lime.
Lime
is
Lime.
Right?
I don't see the Birds.
Yeah.
As much anyway.
So I think, how does this tie to advertising and design and stuff? I think the thought was kind of funny that like there's always the enemy, right? You've got, the Ford, Chevy, the Coke, Pepsi, Apple, Microsoft, you had, but then you get the weird Sirius and XM, right? Like
now we play nice together.
But now they're a thing, right? And there is no opposite. I guess, the natural competition to that would be, Spotify or streaming, right? Instead of actual satellite, right?
Yeah.
But just sort of the interesting aspect of, you can never only have one. You kind of always, and even our laws, our antitrust laws and our monopoly law, you can't just have one. You always got to have.
Well, what are some examples? Because we think about like, your Coke versus Pepsi. Although Pepsi, wasn't it Pepsi that dropped and is now not the number 2? Didn't it?
I don't know. Is this breaking news?
Well, there's breaking news.
Who would be? Is it Dr. Pepper?
I may totally Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
Dr. Pepper has been steadily.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome.
Dr. Pepper's delicious. Absolutely delicious. I don't understand all of their Diet Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper 10, all the extra offshoots of Dr. Pepper. They all taste exactly the same they're delicious. No, you don't think so? Well, remember Dr. Pepper 10 was like Diet Dr. Pepper for dudes. Remember that campaign with the guy and the eagle and the whatever
it's
like
a
that?
good campaign.
But, dude, are you telling me that you can taste the difference between Diet Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper? Because it's pretty damn close, man.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Okay. I don't know that I've ever had a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Do yourself. This is a
the white can?
This is a shout out for Kathy, but have you ever had a Dr. Thunder?
No.
Okay.
That sounds like a wrestling move.
Dr. Thunder is I believe it's the Walmart private label brand of Dr. Pepper.
I have not. Have you had it?
Yes.
Is it good?
My mother-in-law.
Is it good?
Back in the day used to buy it. It's fine.
Does it taste like Dr. Pepper?
Would you drink an RC Cola?
No.
Okay.
Well, let me qualify that statement.
It's within striking distance.
I don't drink a lot of soda anyway anymore. I used to, but I don't drink a lot of soda anymore anyway. And if I I suppose if I were in the mood for a soda and there happened to be
if it's 100 degrees outside,
RC Cola, sure. Would I sip on it? Yeah.
Well, when you're in Florida and it's 1,000 degrees outside, and the only thing in the fridge is a nice cold 12-pack of Dr. Thunder, okay, and you're behind enemy lines. Guess what you're doing?
Like a Marvel comic.
You're drinking
Dr. Thunder.
You're drinking a Dr. Thunder.
Oh no, Spider-Man! Here comes Dr. Thunder.
Yeah, he's an evil villain who controls the weather. Is what it is. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got off topic. So you were saying Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah, and just the notion that you have, at the top, right, across different industries, you have like your Ford, Chevy, right, and they've been duking it out for
ever
since cars were invented,
right?
And they'll duke it out probably until the end of time.
Yeah,
right?
and there are other American car manufacturers, but really we're talking about just
we're talking about the two
brand versus brand.
Yeah, But I was trying to think of instances where so those guys will go on forever. Apple and Microsoft have been battling since they were both invented and will go for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
What are instances where a top dog has crushed the competition? Like like you're out.
Like we're done here and now you don't exist anymore?
Yeah. Like a product analogy would be VHS and Beta. Right, in the 80s, they competed. Yeah. Beta was actually the superior product.
Absolutely.
But somehow VHS won.
Yeah.
Because somebody picked it. And one of the movie studios picked it, I guess, and decided that's the way they were going to go. And then Beta overnight was dead.
Well, that's how Blu-ray came to exist.
Yeah.
Because it was...
and that was a nice try.
Do you remember HD DVD?
Yeah.
Because that was the competitor to Blu-ray. But Blu-ray, backed by Sony, who owns all the movie studios.
Right.
And was like, oh, we also own all the equipment in your house. Like your disc players,
and we just made a large investment in
we have PlayStation, which we're going to put all those games. So it was like, okay, we're going with Blu-ray.
Yeah, we also own 40% of Blu-ray's stock. So we're probably going to lean in that direction. Blu-ray died.
No, Blu-ray's.
Who still watches Bluray?
Well. It still exists.
Laserdisc? Do you have a Laserdisc player in your house too?
I like to pause the movie halfway through and flip it over. Okay.
What's going on?
No, I think Blu-ray exists more from a gaming perspective, through PlayStation and stuff. And I think if you want media, if you go to when you go to Target and it's like, oh, here's like the new movie that's on, it's going to be a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So Blu-ray still exists. But for the most part, it's just streaming and that type of stuff. Physical. I don't know.
Did Lime destroy Bird? Is Bird dead?
I don't see any birds around here.
No birds. Bird Box.
Yeah. Weren't they all carrying some type of microchip anyway? Birds or something or? No, I don't. I think birds still exist. I think there's a scooter or two here around. But to go back to your question about what has obliterated the competition, I don't know the answer to that. I was just thinking about gaming. Nintendo still exists, but I was going to say Nintendo still exists, but all the other guys, there's no Sega Genesis anymore.
Yeah.
There's no TurboGrafx 16, but you still have Xbox and PlayStation, Sony versus Microsoft, right? So, there are others that have filled the void. Right, versus complete obliteration. If we had done the little show notes, maybe we could.
Would you say that roller skates have beat out rollerblades?
Well, I am incredibly athletic and keep up with all of this stuff. So, is rollerblading still a thing? I'm not on Venice Beach.
If you go to a skate rink, you can rent rollerblades.
Yeah,
you can rent both.
Okay, that's interesting.
Random.
I wouldn't have known that, It's interesting that skateboarding has still survived, Now this isn't brands though. This is products.
We're just
in categories,
We've gone off topic, but yeah. Skateboarding still is alive and well.
Yeah. Like snowboarding came in and took over, but it didn't replace skiing. If anything, it just added more people to winter sports, right? Or correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. That's more of a you thing than you're a skier, right? But I've never skied in my life. Did skiers abandon skiing in favor of snowboarding?
Some did. It depends on your age when snowboarding really took off.
When it became
depending on where you were age wise, a lot of people jumped over. and snowboard instead.
I don't know.
And they're losers.
I'm sitting here racking my brain, treading water, trying to think of something where one brand absolutely destroyed another brand.
I mean, we're not talking about acquisitions.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I understand.
We're talking about just shut them down.
Yeah. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure that they're out there.
TKO.
I think really it's more attrition, and replacement than pure domination, there are plenty of car companies, but we always just talk about Ford versus Chevy, the big, American battle, I guess. Right. I don't know. It's an interesting question.
You're a Ford man.
I am a Ford man. I love Fords. So I will say though, I do have a sweet spot for like 62 Corvettes. So, I mean, if I was ever to buy a Chevy, it would be an old classic Corvette.
Corvette's hard to beat.
Yeah. Don't love the new Corvettes, but that's fine. People love
mid-engine.
Yeah, it's just not my jam.
Yeah.
They've gone after the '70s Stingrays. Like, I don't need any Corvettes.
They've all kind of like a lot of those sports cars now kind of just.
Yeah. But I'm not that like anti. I mean, dude, a '57 Chevy is pretty badass, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
You're
another
not like
Chevy.
Screw Chevy.
Yeah. I'm not I don't have the sticker of Calvin peeing on the bow tie, right?
Do people still have those? I guess they do.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they.
But yeah, we do have our brand allegiances, and the brands that we favor. But again, nature abhors a vacuum and wants, you always want to have that competition. And, I love Marvel comics. I'm more of a Marvel zombie, but I never want DC comics to ever go away, even though they have thinned cause like the talent acquisition and the drive to be number one is what keeps things good.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The competition is what makes you better.
Yeah. I mean, DC has kind of been the pimple on the elephant's ass in terms of like acquisitions, right? Cause they were their own thing. Then they were part of Time Warner. Right, Time Warner was bought by AOL. Like, there's been all this crazy, then AT&T is involved. Why does AT&T have anything to do with DC Comics? Makes no sense, right?
Do they still?
So there's been years. Somehow it's all part of the big, mega Goliath, enterprise. I can't even keep up with everything anymore because now everybody buys everybody, right? But like having Disney buy, Fox and that library and Star Wars and Marvel and all the sport and all I don't know that that's necessarily great for all those individual brands, right? But the DC line of products has thinned out tremendously. I mean, it's like a leaflet compared to the encyclopedia produced. So it's always been like, oh, they should buy them. One company should buy the. And it's like, no.
Well, it's just like in any industry when a bigger company acquires somebody, they lose their independent spirit.
Yeah.
You kind of lose a little bit of what got you there.
Yeah, you don't take the risks anymore either.
Speaking of library acquisitions, did you see? I saw the other day that Queen is selling their catalog. Do you know how much they got for their catalog? Queen, the band. Right?
Yeah. I mean, all three they're still. Freddie Mercury's gone, but the rest of Brian May and everybody else
they're all still with us. What do you think that their catalog? Sony bought it. What do you think their catalog went for?
400 million?
No, higher.
Really? Higher than that? Okay. 600?
Higher.
Are you going to tell me it's $1 billion?
Higher.
Higher than a bill.
$1.2 billion.
God, that's crazy.
For their catalog.
That is, take it from me. I mean, how old are those guys? I mean, they got to be in their 70s at least, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they're in every single, we are the champions. I mean, they're in every single sporting event you've ever thought of.
And I have
to
imagine that, because all those deals are a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
So I have to imagine that is a comprehensive deal, meaning all of the licenses that Queen, participates in, right? Or other companies that license them. They get all of I think they get, it's not just the music catalog. I think they get everything.
Everything.
Like all the licensing, all the everything. But $1.2 billion. I saw that the other day. I was like, wow.
I mean, and you've got 3 remaining band members. And then, I don't know, are there some hanger-oners? I mean, is there like the engineer and the other,
sure.
Like the fifth Beatle?
I'm sure there are people that have equity.
That's
somehow or another.
I wouldn't have guessed that for Queen.
But you didn't guess that for Queen.
No.
What I wonder is how long in Sony's model, like how long do they anticipate
being able to be profitable on that.
Yeah. When do they become profitable on that? I mean, how long does that take them to turn a profit on that $1 billion investment in Queen?
I have no idea.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that seems insane. That seems absolutely insane.
And I'm sure part of that too is just we're Sony. We own Queen. I mean, you buy the big catalog for the name brand, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, this was kind of a meandering conversation.
Yeah, that's okay.
Which is good and fine. But yeah, competition is healthy. Competition, kills competition. Competition does a lot of things.
It's interesting.
And it makes brands become stronger and forces them to be more creative in what they do.
I know. Isn't it weird though that we don't have any competition?
It is. Well, sometimes, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, pure dominance, really, over a marketplace.
Yeah.
Well, they want to try and break us up because we're a monopoly.
This is true.
It's weird.
This is true.
So listen, right. I'm going to say today, the PSA for the day is, if you're going to scooter,
yes,
ride safe.
Yes.
Wear a helmet.
Absolutely.
Eyes on the road.
Yeah.
Obey the traffic laws and be aware of your surroundings.
Absolutely.
Awareness.
Yes.
Speaking of awareness,
take your earphones out.
Take your earpods out.
Yeah.
Or AirPods. My kids get mad at me because I call them AirPods.
Earpods?
I do.
I kind of like AirPods, actually.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of awareness, Don, where can the people find us?
Oh, we're flipping the script. I like it. People can find us on all the socials and online at Mock the Agency. It's at Mock the Agency on all the different things. .com.
We will talk at you on what's going to be a very, very exciting episode 125.
It'll be 125, yeah. It's exciting. All right, thanks, everybody.